Middle Eastern Judaism and Islam, Music, Culture, and People. Episode 3, The Qasīdah in Islamic and Jewish Traditions. In this episode, Dr Merav Rosenfeld Hadad, musicologist, research fellow, and co-principal investigator of the Living in Harmony project at the Wolf Institute, will talk about the history and development of the Qasīdah style in Middle Eastern music.
In the first 2 episodes of our series, I discussed the centrality of Arabic music in Middle Eastern Judaism and Islam, which both share the view that Arabic music should primarily serve the meaning of the text and highlight its ideas and values. In today's episode, I will present the Qasīdah, which is an ancient Arabic poetic genre that emerged in pre-Islamic Arabia of the 5th century, and I will discuss its place in both Islamic and Jewish religious practice and life. A few words about the form, style, and content of the Qasīdah. This central poetic genre can include anywhere from 30 to 100 lines and features a single meter and a single rhyming scheme. Each line is made of 2 parts. The poem is structured so that the 2 parts of the first line rhyme with the second part of each subsequent line in the poem. Initially, and for the first few hundred years of existence, the Qasīdah was created and transmitted orally, and it depicted themes taken from typical Bedouin tribal life. Muslim poets throughout the Middle Ages further cultivated the genre and added themes that describe the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Gradually, the Qasīdah lost its former significance as a quintessential expression of Bedouin tribal life and values. However, it did keep its prestige as an exalted form of poetry. Poets up until the 19th century continued to create qasā'id, which is the plural form of Qasīdah. And even now, after this genre has become almost obsolete, there are still Muslim and Jewish poets who use different aspects of its structure and style. When set to music, the Qasīdah can include either religious or non-religious themes. Qasā'id of this variety are much shorter, and they usually comprise 10 to 25 lines, with a refrain that is created from the first line of the poem. The melody itself is based on a free rhythmic pattern, and more often than not, it is performed by either a male or female singer, accompanied by a choir and an instrumental ensemble. In Islamic tradition, one of the most recited qasā'id is Qasīdah al-Burda, or in English, Ode of the Mantle. Qasīdah al-Burda is dedicated to praising the Prophet Muhammad and his family. This Qasīdah was written in the 13th century by the Sufi mystic and poet Imam al-Busayri of Egypt, who attests that he had written this Qasīdah after he had experienced a severe illness and made supplications to the Prophet, hoping that he would plead on his behalf before God. And indeed, the Prophet appeared in his dream, wiped his face with his blessed hands, covered him in his burda, mantle, and in the morning Imam al-Busayri woke up a cured man. This long Qasīdah comprises 10 chapters and has a total of 160 lines. It features the same rhyming scheme and structure as described earlier. Qasīdah al-Burda can be performed at any time. However, it is mostly recited at special religious occasions. In addition, selected verses from this Qasīdah are recited into the ears of people who are suffering from illness and who are hoping to be healed. Here is a small segment of Qasīdah al-Burda, which opens with the phrase مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. O my Lord, continuously and internally bestow blessing and peace upon your beloved, the Prophet, who is the best of all creation. The following rendition of Qasīdah al-Burda is performed by a group of Moroccan munshidin, or in English, religious singers. Having mentioned Morocco, I would like to present here an interesting form of religious qasida that was prevalent among Moroccan Jewish communities both before and after they left Morocco, and that is still prevalent among these communities today. During the period between the festivals of Tabernacles and Purim, roughly between October and the following March, these communities sing on every Sabbath at dawn what are known as bakashot, which are supplications to God. These bakashot are performed with particular melodies which are designated for the specific Sabbath in which they are sang. Every set of bakashot ends with a particular Hebrew qasida that is tailored to the topic of this Sabbath and performed with a unique melody. This repertoire includes 89 qasa'id that were written throughout the centuries by leading rabbinic figures who were also prolific poets who lived in and outside of Morocco. One of the most famous qasa'id is Qasīdah Yafa v'Tama, which opens with the verse Yafa v'Tama Torah temima hane'ima. Beautiful and pure is the virtuous and pleasant Torah. Qasīdah Yafa v'Tama was written by the prominent 19th century Moroccan rabbi and poet Shlomo Abitbul. In a sophisticated and multi-layered Hebrew, Rabbi Abitbul describes the virtues of the divine Torah, which is the central part of the Hebrew Jewish Bible, with words of praises, exaltations, and deep love and admiration. Moroccan Jews sing Yafa v'Tama on the Sabbath of Parashat Beshalach, that is the Sabbath in which the fourth portion of the book of Exodus is recited, at some point during early February. However, since this qasida has gained in popularity in recent years among all communities of Jews originating in Muslim countries everywhere, it is now performed on many other religious occasions and by many cantors, Moroccans and non-Moroccans alike. We will now hear Qasīdah Yafa v'Tama performed by the renowned Moroccan cantor Moshe Louk with the Andalusian Orchestra of Jerusalem. While we know of both Arabic and Hebrew religious qasīdah designated for both Islamic and Jewish religious occasions, the non-religious version of the qasida is written only in Arabic. This type of qasida reached its artistic peak during the 19th century through the work of the Egyptian singer Salam al-Hijazi, who was also a distinguished Quran reciter. This Egyptian trend was further developed during the 20th century by leading artists such as the singer and composer Muhammad Abdul Wahab, the most famous and admired female singer in the Arab world Kulthum, and the composer Muhammad al-Qasabchi, Zakaria Ahmed, and Riyad al-Sanbati. One of the most popular and loved qasīdah in the entire Arab world, cherished by both Muslims and Jews as well as Christians, is Qasīdah al-Atlal, the ruins. It was written by the 20th century Egyptian physician and poet Ibrahim Naji and composed 13 years after Naji's death by Riyad al-Sanbati. Riyad al-Sanbati is considered by leading intellectuals in the Arab world as the philosopher of Arab music. He composed this qasida for the diva Kulthum, and many Arabs believe that Al-Atlal is the best song Kulthum has ever performed and the best song Riyad al-Sanbati has ever composed. We will listen now to Kulthum's rendition of this qasida in 1966, only a short time after it was composed. The vocal part of Al-Atlal opens with the phrase يا فؤادي لا تسأل أين الهوى كان صرحا من خيالي فهوى. O my heart, don't ask where the love has gone. It was the fortress of my imagination that has collapsed. We will conclude our episode today with the most iconic part of Qasīdah al-Atlal, which opens with the following text: أعطيني حريتي أطلق يدي. Give me my freedom, set free my hands. Throughout the years, these words took on broader meaning and were quoted in many significant events in the histories of different peoples of the Middle East. Here it is. Enjoy.